Hello, my name is Karla Frias, and for my external analytical report, I did it over increasing civilian knowledge of cybercrime in San Antonio, Texas. Introduction. San Antonio has experienced a drastic increase in cyber attacks due to surrounding military bases and the increase in population. Many citizens have been victims of cyber attacks, losing finances, credentials, and their identities. Topics covered in this presentation are: what is the problem? Background of the problem. My methods of research, results I gained from my research, and the conclusion I came to after surveys and interviews. First, what is the problem? There are three top cybercrimes in San Antonio currently. First, asset fraud. This has to do with bank accounts, stocks, and online properties. Next is account credentials. Social media logins, email logins, Google Sync, or Apple Sync. Finally, identity theft. Stealing different files of IDs, social security card, or social security number. This all has to do with personal information of a civilian that should not be shared on the internet or be given out freely. Why is cybercrime a problem? There are three reasons. First, the lack of security assistance. Too little people are unaware of the simple steps they can complete to increase their cybersecurity on their computers. Next is system vulnerabilities. Cyber criminals can find small weaknesses within a user's system. Next is assessing risk. Civilians underestimate the risk of cyber attacks. The more they are underestimated, the more openings that are left for an attack. San Antonio at a glance. The population of San Antonio is currently 1.4 million people, 805,000 of which are civilians with no ties to the military. Currently, over 50 million credentials have been stolen in the San Antonio area in the past year alone. With stolen credentials, an attacker can harm a civilian's assets, private information, and identity. Next is my methods of research. My first method of research I used in problem analysis was anonymous student surveys through Google Forms. The surveys were given to students at Oklahoma State University to compare results with students in San Antonio, Texas at the following universities: the University of Texas at San Antonio, St. Mary's, and Trinity University. My second method of research I used was to interview the director of proposals at DefLogix, Karina Marquez. Let's take a look at some of my results. First is the Google survey. One of the questions on the Google survey was, do you know what a cyber attack is? 73% of the students who answered the survey said no. Next, what information would you like to know? This is useful information for when DefLogix has to come up with information to share on the infographics and flyers and social media posts that they will be sharing. 17% asked, what can happen after a cyber attack? 32% asked, can it be prevented? 30% asked, how many people has it affected? And 21% asked, who can it affect? Finally, on our Google survey, we also asked, do you believe this is a solvable issue? 64% of the student population said yes. And on the other hand, 36% said no. Next are interview questions and answers. First, I asked Karina how prepared is DefLogix to spread mass amounts of information? Why do you think there is a gap of knowledge in the cybersecurity field? What makes you susceptible to cybercrime? Where do you see the future of cybersecurity in 10 years, and how is the college age population helping that? Is there any initiatives currently that DefLogix has to help inform the general population about cybercrime or San Antonio, respectively? She answered, firstly, DefLogix is prepared to do its part in helping educate civilians. We would hire more individuals to cover social media as well as work together with the company hiring recruiter. Cybersecurity is something that has not been standardized in K through 12 education, and not all schools can afford a technology center, much fewer classes about cybersecurity. Being unaware and ignorant are the top two things making someone susceptible to cybercrime. 4. Continuing to accelerate at an even faster pace than now is where Karina sees cybersecurity in the next 10 years because of artificial intelligence and machine learning, starting potentially a new industrial age. A tick in the population of college-age students interested in cybersecurity can potentially lead to the increasing number of resources to help spike a larger interest in the field. Doing our part in preparation to help educate civilians, DefLogix has created a CyberOps Academy accelerated boot camp. This leads to a career in cybersecurity and an open field of job opportunities. In conclusion, 73% of 18 to 30 age people prefer to get information online or through social media. While on the other hand, 64% of 65 and up age people prefer to see the same information on flyers or newspapers. In total, 92% of civilians in San Antonio, Texas will be reached through the DefLogix civilian operation. Currently, there are two people who are the top targets of cybercrime. First, being those that are ignorant. They know about cybercrime and believe it, but still do not believe that can be a target or can fall victim to it because they're just a regular person and they believe that they are not as desirable to cybercriminals. Next is the lack of awareness. Someone can be unaware or have the lack of exposure to the knowledge of cybercrime. This can lead to them leaving vulnerabilities on their system or computers and can lead to a cyber attack. Finally, in conclusion, the flyers and social media posts DefLogix will be sharing will contain answers to the questions people asked in the surveys. This is to help attract back the same people that filled out the surveys to learn about cybersecurity and the causes and the effects that can happen after a cyber attack. Next, after my interview with Karina Marquez, she pointed out that the most cause of a cyber attack is ignorance or a lack of awareness of cybercrime. I think DefLogix sharing that idea will drastically increase the amount of people that are impacted by the flyers and information that DefLogix is sharing. Finally, the increase in civilian knowledge of cybercrime and cybersecurity will potentially increase the number of people in the cybersecurity industry. This can lead to an increase in jobs and an increase in profit. 50% of the jobs in the labor force make less money than an entry-level job in cybersecurity. This can lead to a better financial life for many people in San Antonio who currently work minimum wage jobs. In addition to sharing the answers from the questions the people asked in the surveys, Karina would like to share a new survey with people who work at DefLogix to ask questions that they think should be answered